Has the Man of Steel made the right choice joining up with the Omega Man, or is it a decision that he'll live to regret? Well, let's hop into the pages of Absolute Superman issue number 9 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Kal-El had rebuked the offers of Lois and instead decided to go with Jimmy and the Omega Man, probably a good choice too, as they're one of the only organizations who have the medical gear capable of saving this young Superman's life. Remember, at the end of the last issue, he got shot up with kryptonite bullets, courtesy of Christopher Smith. We actually get treated to a very cool medical procedure style scene wherein the members of the Omega Men try their hardest to do surgery on alien biology they don't understand. Hell, even once they get inside, they're still not strong enough to pull out the bullet. Poor Kal-El has to do the job himself and do it without the assistance of his AI partner Soul, who is still rebooting. Now, after that gross bonding experience, Primus, the leader of the Omega Men, actually feels comfortable enough with Superman to drop her helmet. We don't get her real name this issue, but I still feel pretty damn confident in my fan theory that that's actually Talia al Ghul. In fact, it goes even further as we realize that even though Primus runs the operation, she apparently talks about serving an even higher power in the form of Omega, a godlike being who gifted the group, get this, a father box which Primus uses to complete Kal-El's treatment. Now back over with Lois, we see she's been arrested by the forces of Lazarus. Ra's al Ghul himself actually comes down to try and put the fear of God into her, but surprise, surprise, Lois won't be moved. As far as she's concerned, everything is different now. There is a Superman, he's real, and change is coming with him, even when Ra's is implied to threaten her father. By turning off his fancy robot legs, Lois goes out of her way to try and shank the guy. Not that that would kill him or anything. Furthermore, Ra's says he doesn't plan to kill Lois, only to put her back into the field and return to him his son. Which is a very damn interesting choice of words, especially when we stop and consider this arc is actually called Son of the Demon. I mean, he can't possibly be talking about Clark, can he? Well, literally anyway. Now, it's after that the book actually chooses to do some interesting stuff with time, showing us events out of order. We witness Superman aid the Omegas in raiding a Karachi prison, on the condition that Primus and the others promise to not actually kill anyone this time. Furthermore, Superman more or less does the job entirely himself, as he's used to being a lone wolf at this point. The mission is going pretty damn good until the Peacemakers end up showing off their newest set of weapons, giant mechs, that manage to grab Superman and knock him around like a ragdoll. The only way out of this is with Soul's assistance by activating his solar flare ability, which, unlike in the main universe, this solar flare seems to be an invention of the suit and a last-ditch effort to avoid death. Furthermore, the Soul program actually seems to know more about this father box than it's letting on, and says that Superman should never use it again, lest he be courting disaster. It's after that we actually end up stepping back in time before the mission, wherein we see Kal-El having himself a little conversation with Jimmy. Jimmy talks about the father box and admits even he doesn't fully understand the thing's power or history. We know that the Omega Men use it to boom tube their way around, but there's conflicting stories about its actual origin. Some people say it fell to Earth, some people say the Omega Men discovered it on Earth, and others say that it was gifted to Primus by God himself. But certainly not any god you've ever heard of. Furthermore, when Superman actually interacted with the father box, he was given a vision of a destroyed planet jetting flames on all sides. A planet that sure as hell sounds like Darkseid's Apocalypse from the main universe. The only difference is Kal-El says that this is no faraway alien world, this is Earth, unless Lazarus can be stopped, and soon. We also learn a little bit about what actually brought meek little Jimmy Olsen over to the Omega Men group. Apparently he deeply wanted to do something that mattered with his life, but even he now admits that he might be in over his head. The world's problems are a lot bigger than Lazarus. There's intel on an Area 41 from the Absolute Wonder Woman book, and also the Olympus Project, headed by the world's most psychotic billionaire. Again, something you would know all about if you were reading Absolute Batman. Primus shows up not long after and gives Superman and her team their next mission. It seems that that prison in Karachi just so happens to be housing political dissidents who were arrested at a protest, calling for Christopher Smith to be punished for his crimes. Geez, this looks pretty damn familiar, unfortunately, doesn't it? Now, back in the present, Superman manages to destroy the Peacemaker mechs, but in his internal monologue, he's not too happy. He talks about feelings of intense rage, not just for his enemies, but kind of in general. This world is beating him down. But worse still, it seems like all of the corruption, the greed, and complacency of Krypton has also followed him here to Earth. Kal-El Kal-El has already lost one world in his short life, and now he fears that he might end up losing another, and just to really make things worse and rub some salt into the wound. Once Superman and the Omegas make their way inside the prison, they see they're all too late. The protesters have already been put to death, hung, and left out as a warning. This setback really ends up pushing Primus over the edge, as she not only starts killing indiscriminately, but leaves so quickly she ends up abandoning one of her own men. Once they're back at the base, it's time to pull up stakes and leave. Before Lazarus comes down on them like the hammer of the gods, Primus tries to goad Superman into using his powers to kill Raish, to kill Christopher Smith, and end this war once and for all. Of course, Kal-El won't hear any of it, and quite frankly, he's getting pretty damn sick of everyone telling him who he is and what he's meant to do on Earth when even he doesn't know those things. Kal-El thought he made the right choice by following the Omega Men, but by the minute he's starting to regret that choice. Hey, who was that guy who got left behind? Well, surprise, surprise, it's Jimmy, who, as the comic comes to a close, ends up coming face to face with a very vengeful Lois Lane, who is hoping to use him as leverage in saving her father and getting to Superman. And so that was Absolute Superman issue number 9, everybody, and once again, Jason Aaron ends up turning in a really fun, really exciting, really action-packed issue from start to finish. I like the short but succinct character journey that Superman goes on in this story. He thought that saving the world would be as simple as joining up with a cause. He thought the Omegas could give him an identity, could give him some direction, but slowly but surely he begins to realize that these guys are just as human, just as corruptible, and just as fallible as anyone else. Geez, it's almost like what this world really needs is a Superman, a symbol to rally behind who is good and kind and honest, and, you know, a hero to aspire to. Also, I feel dumb for not recognizing it earlier, but Ra's al Ghul actually has an Omega symbol tattooed on his face, and the Omega Men take the Omega symbol, Darkseid symbol, as their logo. Is this implying that Darkseid is actually pulling all the strings in this situation, and it doesn't matter if you're clearly a villain or think you're the good guy, everyone is actually just doing Darkseid's bidding implicitly? It's certainly something to think about, that's for sure. Overall, I really enjoyed this issue and would give it another very positive 8.5 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.